Hello, children. Welcome back to your English class with me, Sir Ellis. And our topic for today is sentence formation or formation of a sentence. And there are some points that we have to know while learning the formation of a sentence. Here, constructing a sentence is easy once we know the function of verbs. Here, we are still in the process of learning verbs, means we have not yet finished learning verbs. We are still in the process of learning verbs, but in the meantime, we have to know how to form a sentence. And verbs play a very important role in this sentence formation. That is why I am just including this sentence formation in between the process of learning verbs. Okay. So, in the next test, we will learn some things that we have to follow while making a sentence. And the most common order for making a sentence is subject plus verb plus object. This is the complete sentence, the order of a complete sentence. But we can also make a sentence without the object, means we can also make a sentence with subject and verb only. So let's see this subject plus verb plus object. What are they? The subject here. In a simple form, the subject is the doer in a sentence. Doer means when we are going to make a sentence with a doing word, the subject is the doer in a sentence. Alright, the one who does the action or the verb, the action verb. The one who does the action verb is the subject of a sentence, and the verb is what the subject does or what the subject is doing. So here, this is what we called the action verb. Okay, we know action verb, right? Like physical action, mental action, like that. Object. The object of a sentence is the person or a thing that receives the action of the verb. Here, let me repeat again. The object of a sentence is the person or a thing that receives the action of the verb. It is the who or what the subject does something to. It is the who or what the subject does something to. Remember this, the who or what. So here, a complete sentence. Let's see. Subject plus verb plus what? Object. Okay. Here, David kicks the ball. Here, you can see it according to the color. Alright, subject is in the red and verb is in the green and ball is in the brown. Alright, so David here is the subject and kick is the verb and ball is the object. Okay, David kicks the ball means David kicks the ball is a complete sentence. Subject plus verb plus object. He goes to school. He is the subject here. In the previous sentence we use a name or a noun, but here he goes to school we use a pronoun. Alright, goes. Here, goes is the verb and school is the one that receives the action. Alright, so school is the object. It flies in the sky. It is the subject. Flies. It can be a bird. But if we say bird, that will be a noun. But we are using a pronoun here. Pronoun called it. And the action here is fly or flies. Alright, the verb. And who or what? Where? The receiver here is the sky. It flies in the sky. So sky is the object. They shout in the classroom. They is the subject and it is a pronoun, and shout is the verb. Shout is an action word, right? Action verb. And classroom is the receiver. Alright, so classroom is the object. And a sentence can also be made or constructed without an object. Here, like I said in the previous slide, we can construct a sentence without an object, right? Meaning we can construct a sentence, or we can make a sentence with subject and verb only. Here, let's see some examples. Dog barks. It's a complete sentence here. Dog barks, and dog is the subject and barks is the verb, and it is a complete sentence. We don't have an object here. Alright, and then she dances beautifully. She is the subject and dog here is the subject and it is a noun, but here she is a subject but it is a pronoun. Dance or dances is the verb here because it is an action verb. Dancing is an action verb, but beautifully is not the noun anymore, so beautifully is an adverb. Right, so it cannot be an object here, so we don't have an object. She dances beautifully. They went away after 12 p.m. They went away. Where? It did not mention where here, so they went away. Alright, so we have only a subject and a verb here. And here's one point that you have to know. Though we are learning verbs as action word in this lesson, let me repeat it again. Though we are learning verbs as action words in this lesson, remember that words like is, has, is the stative verb. Alright, has, have, these are belonging verbs, etc., etc., can also function as verbs as we have learned in the previous classes. I think you have all known about this. Is a stative verb, has, have are belonging verbs. Okay, so that means it is not always subject, verb and object, but with subject and verb also we can construct a sentence. And we are using barks, dances, went. These are all action words, but there are some verbs which do not involve action. Alright, so you have to remember that there are some verbs which are not doing words. In simple form, let's say there are some verbs which are not doing words, right? But we are using doing words here mainly. Yeah, remember that and don't get confused. Alright, subject of a sentence here. Subject of a sentence can be a noun or nouns. Let's say name of a person. A noun is the name of a person, animal, a place or a thing or an idea or something like that. We know that, right? So we can use nouns as a subject of a sentence. Example here, names: Reuben, Abel, Shania, Joanna, Lalbi Axoli, Lauren Pui. These are names. Alright, so they are nouns. School, library, classroom, these are names of places. Understand? These are names of places. School, library, classroom. And boat, house, dog. Here boat and house are a thing. We can simply call it a thing. Dog is an animal. Vanapa hall, AR ground, these are names of places. Table, chair, pen, these are names of things. Table, chair, pens, etc., etc. Alright, we know nouns, right? These nouns can be used as subject of a sentence. Pronouns are also used as subjects of a sentence. Subjects or we can say subjects of sentences. Okay. Personal pronouns are mainly used as subjects of a sentence. Personal pronouns are mainly used as subjects of a sentence or subjects of sentences. Let's see. Some personal pronouns are used as subjects of sentences. So, here, personal pronouns. I think you have already learned pronouns with Miss Belinda. So, I think you still remember this personal pronouns. The first person singular is I, me, my, mine, and first person plural are we, us, our, ours. Alright. Second person pronoun singular is you, yours. Sorry, you, your, yours. Or second person second person plural you, your, yours. Third person here, third person singular he, she, it, him, her, his, her, hers, its. Third person plural they, them, their, theirs. Okay, these are the personal pronouns, but some of them can be used as subjects of sentences, but some cannot be used. Okay, pronouns as subjects. Let's see. So let's use some personal pronouns as subjects. Okay, so what are the personal pronouns? Let's see it again. Here we have, like the previous slide, let's see, subject plus verb plus object again. Here I is the subject here, and here it's a pronoun, right? First person singular pronoun I. I drink milk. Drink is the verb here, and milk is the object. We here, we is first person plural. Alright, it's a pronoun. We went to the park. Went is the verb. Went is the past tense of go. Go, went, gone, like that. We will learn how to conjugate verbs in the next class. We went to the park. So the park is the object. Where did we go? We went to the park. Remember, we are using pronoun as subject here. You is the second person singular pronoun. Alright, you blow the balloon. Alright, the balloon is the object. You is the doer, and blow is something that is done, and balloon is the receiver. You is the doer, and blow is something that the doer does, and the balloon is the object or the receiver of the action. He, she bites the cake. He and she are third person singular pronouns. He and she. And bite or bites is the verb, and it is an action verb, and the cake is the receiver of the action, so it is the object of this sentence. And they laughed at her, so they is a third person plural pronoun. Understand? They laughed. What are they doing? They laughed, right? Laughed is the verb. Laughed at her. Her is the object. We ran home. We is the first person plural pronoun. Understand? What are we doing? We ran. Alright. Where? We ran home. So home is the receiver. Alright. So home here is the object. We ran home. And note, we will learn more about the rules of grammar in subject verb agreement. Alright, if you take a look at the contents of your lessons from your textbook, you will see one lesson called subject verb agreement. Alright, we will learn some grammar rules here, when and where to use pronouns and nouns as subject, and what verbs follows the subject. Alright, that we will learn in subject verb agreement. Okay, and the next important thing is a predicate. Okay, what is a predicate? In simple words, a predicate is the words, here lines, is the words that follow or come after the subject of a sentence. In simple words, a predicate is the words that follow or come after the subject of a sentence. It may be long or short, but any word or words, any word that comes after a subject is the predicate. Understand? Here, he. Example number 1 here. He is the what? He is the subject, and he is a third person singular pronoun. Understand? He is running in the street. So he is the subject and is running in the street is the predicate. It's quite long, but is running in the street is the predicate because this line comes after the subject he. So whatever comes after the subject is the predicate of a sentence. Alright, so he is a subject and running in the street is the predicate. And example number 2 here, we have only 2 words. Birds fly. Birds is the subject here, and fly is the following word. Here also we have only 1 word after the subject, but this 1 word fly is the predicate. It's only 1 word, but it's still a predicate because it comes after the subject. And in example number 1, he is running in the street. Is running in the street comes after the subject he. So is running in the street is the predicate. Here also in number 2, fly. Only 1 word comes after the subject bird. So even if it's only 1 word, it's still a predicate. It can be a very long line, but if it comes after the subject, it will always be a predicate. Points to remember. A verb that is followed by an object is transitive verb, and a verb with no object is intransitive verb. Okay, let's see. Transitive verb. John cuts the wood into bits and pieces. Here we have John as the subject, and cuts is the verb, and wood is the object. So we have a full sentence: subject, verb, and object. So it's a transitive verb. Cuts is a transitive verb because the verb has an object. Alright. Intransitive verb. John ran away. Where it doesn't mention here, so we don't have an object. So a verb that doesn't have an object is called intransitive verb. Alright, we are going to learn it in details in the next class. Alright, this transitive verb and intransitive verb, we are going to learn it in details, but this is just the introduction. John is the subject, and cuts is the verb, and wood is the object. But here John is the subject, ran is the verb, but we don't have an object. That is why we call it an intransitive verb. But the first one, transitive verb, has an object. The verb has an object, so we call it transitive verb. But here John ran away, it doesn't have an object, so the verb is not followed by an object, or the verb doesn't have an object, so it is an intransitive verb. So for your home assignment, learn and try to memorize these examples of personal pronouns. Understand? Here I want you to learn this again. You might have learned it before with Miss Belinda, but I just want you to learn this. because if you don't mention it, if you don't memorize it, but it can come as a problem. Alright, so if you can, please try to memorize this or by heart this, because it is going to be important when we learn subject verb agreement. Right, this first person, second person, and third person, these personal pronouns are going to be important when we learn subject verb agreement. That is why I am asking you to memorize this, right, or to understand this. So that's all for now. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next class. And thank you.